ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL,
Welcome into the grand final of ESL Challenger League Season 51. The second cup, of course, as we do have 4 cups this season. Who is going to be joining the royalty here in the European Regional Finals? I suppose we are going to find out. It's one win up against Nemiga. Myself, Scriv, and Neokai to take you through this one. We've been on the playoffs all week, which is nice. Happy to remain for this grand final as well. And a revenge arc, actually. It was one win that knocked Nemiga into the lower bracket. Nemiga have risen from the ashes, and they're here to try and indeed get that revenge.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a very interesting game that we're getting on the way into, right? These two sides are in really decent form. One win in particular have been scaling up with the new changes they've made, and all down to this final, of course. We know that they will be playing, of course, for some prize pool, but the main thing is qualifying to Season 51 EU Finals. A win in there can lead to a spot in Pro League, which is what these teams are all looking towards. Tier 1 tournaments heading in towards 2027. So that's the big thing that they're really vying for with this tournament. Of course, here's the prize pool. As mentioned, 12 grand for first place is a nice tidy sum to have, and especially at the moment where teams all around are really looking to as much as possible, get any little bit of prize pool to book themselves a spot in towards that major. Both of these sides, I don't think are in contention. I think they'd be like just outside of it. One win in particular, I think Nemiga, for them, their VRS rating is 31. I think they need to be some in the region of like top 20 to kind of be in for a chance. So unfortunately, I don't think they can sneak in at the final hurdle, but you can set yourself up for a decent second half to the season. That third place finish for K27, that actually did plummet them down in the chances of qualifying to the major. They were 54% or something like that chance yesterday before that game, but with the loss have now dipped down to like 25, 27%, something along those lines. And yeah, it's brutal. You know, it just shows how one best of 3 can make such a massive difference. And despite such a decent win rate over the last few months for K27, not enough for them. So they might just miss out on the major by not making it to the final here, or not even winning the final here. But they did pick up that loss yesterday to Nemiga, and in that final map in particular, they were just so off their game compared to what we were used to, what we were expecting, and all the rest. But it's all come down to this grand final. One win. They've had a day off to prepare as well and watch Nemiga pick up that win yesterday, and I'll be very excited to see how this one pans out. Both coming towards this game on win streaks of their own regard as well. 1 win, 4 map win streak with some decent teams. K27, Ursa, Nemiga, and Turn of Fire. Nemiga on the flip side, it's Mana, Sangal, Nemesis, Ursa, and K27. So we shall see. It's hard to pick a favourite in towards this one, but I might ever so slightly lean in the favour of one win.
Yeah, well, you set it up quite nicely there. I think that there is some history here, both, as I mentioned at the start of the tournament, start of the month as well. These guys played each other, and one win tend to get the better of Nemiga. It feels kind of inconsistent in terms of what maps get played, in terms of what maps get won. And interestingly enough, going into the start of this year and the end of last year, slightly different roster for Nemiga. It was more Nemiga sided. It was also a slightly different roster, I suppose, for one win at that time. So there's a few things to look at and to consider within this particular matchup, but more recently with the recent one win additions in particular, which seem to have really turned things around. Kickit coming in has apparently, you know, done massive things for them, and then Rayoz, this kind of youngster, this lesser known name as well, is also turning a few heads. I'm sure we'll get into that. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, as we get the one win roster up on your screen, so you can kind of talk about this pretty cleanly now. But indeed, it does feel like one win have taken a turn with these moves, and it is indeed paying off for them.
Yeah, exactly. This team looks really, really interesting. I've not had a chance to cast this new look 1-win as well with those changes. So this will be a first for me since they brought in Rails and Kicker within the last month. Kicker, of course, we know very, very well. He's been kind of actually a bit of a mercenary for hire around a variety of different teams, and went out to South America, for God's sake, playing for MIBR, which was kind of a wild move for the tail end of the year. Then had a brief stint in Paravision as well before now where he is at the moment with 1-win. And yeah, I'll be interested to see kind of how this side pays off for Rayoz as well. I don't think I've ever casted this guy. You know, he's bounced around a couple of teams at the lower level and kind of came through 1-win's academy. So I'll be interested to see what he can bring to the table. 19 years of age as well. It should be quite spicy. From what I can see, statistically speaking, doesn't seem like he's like a real firepower addition to the side. Seems like a more stabilizing, kind of supporting type rifler. So I'll be interested to see how that pans out for him. But it's a really cool team, 1-win. They've got a lot of players who can really hit hard. And, you know, you're looking at kind of, in particular, Latic, but Ozik as well. Every time I've casted 1-win in the past, Ozik's looked really quite sharp, and they're a scary side.
Yeah, it feels like they're all capable. I mean, the last matchup these guys had against each other, Rayoz was there more towards the top end. So, you know, I think the whole squad is really capable. We do have a few questions about leadership, I suppose, but I think those things will become more apparent as it goes on. Nemiga side of things, though, as the roster comes up there, one that you should be familiar with by now if you've been catching the past few broadcast days. We've been covering Nemiga quite a lot. I think 3 days in a row now of these guys. But yeah, a really solid team in their own right as well. Been playing very, very well within the context of this particular cup.
Yes.
On a 5-match winning streak, having played and, you know, been knocked down to the lower bracket quite early on, in fact. So they've had to run back through that lower bracket, and it's been their main focus for the past week or so. And looking pretty damn good in that sense. K27 put to bed, Nemesis put to bed. Few hiccups in places in those particular matchups, but they seem quite capable of shaking them off really fast.
Yes, yeah, you're spot on. We've got the veto running through here as well. Couple of maps that it's no surprise we don't see, especially kind of that nuke getting banned out. One in which, you know, it makes complete sense in the permaban, but it's also been one that Amiga have been scaling up into. We're going to kickstart things on Mirage. Very good map for 1-win. They've been picking into it a lot. Ancient will come through for an Amiga. 24 times played last 3 months for them. There's a couple that you could have as a decider here. Dust 2 was actually the one I was potentially considering. Both of them have played a lot and more than Overpass, but they're going for that Overpass instead, which leans ever so slightly in favor of an Amiga. But this has all the makings to be a really interesting game, and we're straight into the action. Last couple of times they played as well, we've got a 2-1 for 1-win. As you're kind of discussing, that was a Dust 2 Ancient Mirage. Dust 2 was a 13-6. Ancient was a 13-4 in favor of an Amiga, and Mirage was a 13-10 back in favor of 1-win. They won that 2-1. Before that as well, another 2-1, but it was Anubis Dust 2 Overpass. A slight variation in terms of the map pool itself, but let's see. We're underway here in towards Mirage. Like I mentioned, last time they played, it was a 13-10 for 1-win. Will it be more of the same as 1-win will get that bomb down?
Yeah, not wasting any time in all senses of the word, or senses of the phrase, getting into this particular matchup. There's a gap in that smoke. That netted the first. Throwing us up close here in towards CT. He's got some backup as well. They'll go even over there. It's a quick goosh and a quick finish from Latic on the player in con. Makes a really big difference. However, smoke and kit retrieved. They're going to get straight on that bomb. He needs dealing with awfully quick here. Knife is out, and they just about find him. Osik, it's close. It's very close. You know, you miss one, or the second slash doesn't land, and I think that defuse goes in. So 1-win going to be counting their lucky stars. But they get away with that. It started pretty poorly for them. A missed smoke for sure. Maybe a block smoke I didn't quite catch, but either way, they do well to recover.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So 1-win start well. Mr. Round taken. Nice, comfortable buys coming towards this one. And we won't actually see the forced investment on that CT side by Nemiga. Generally speaking, a lot of teams like to be forced buying in spots like this. I like that we're going for the rifles as early as possible. There might be a dive on a window, which Cricket was oh so ready for. The last man of Sypho seen off. We're looking to him a lot, Sypho, as well, right? I think, you know, yesterday he had a fantastic game, but every single time that we've caught Nemiga over the last week and a half, he's been such a prevalent point of putting up real serious numbers. And they're going to need him again against OneWin, who we know have so much in terms of firepower.
Very early smokes coming out here. Try and get that mid control. And indeed, OneWin not wasting any time in terms of making themselves known towards middle. It will be a crunch from the underpass. Meanwhile, Sawalio with some information gathering. Gonna hear these footsteps, I think. Light footsteps. I'm not sure if Rails fully gave it away. It seems they're both prepared for each other, and it is the A1S to come out on top. So a big find in terms of the info and the kill. Leo with a questionable dry swing going in. Khan does get a trade back. They know about Sawalio being around. I'm not sure how I feel about this. The scaling towards the A-bomb site could be good. Ends up getting stopped in its tracks. That bomb being dropped as well. Kickert the only one that remains. And he is caught from all sides.
But Nemiga starting well in towards your first gun round. Generally why I do like teams to not force buy when losing the CT pistol. It's immediately in towards the investment, immediate success, and probably a little bit of a kick up the arse for OneWin. Just too textbook in how they approach that T-side round. And they just got shut down. Trying to move their way through Khan. It's way too easy. Nice work by Nemiga. Couple of AK scooped up as well, which is a nice little cherry on top. Khan playing up in front of that window smoke, but the nade that bounces in towards ramp is a nice one. Sawalio's under. Kickert making a move. Spotted and dropped. Nice little move there. Once again, diving towards A. It's Kickert for 2. Make that 3. Oh, wow. Kickert's looking sharp as hell to start this off. His 6th kill in the opening 3 rounds.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be a really, really great team for him. In a lot of different ways. As you say, a mercenary. I'll see what happens here with Sypho, but I did want to go over a little bit some of his history. So he is holding out for the moment. So indulge me slightly here now as we go through this. But obviously we have Outsiders, VP of varying degrees, right, as they go through name changes, wins the major with them under the Outsiders. September 2023 is when he first left VP to join Into the Breach. That lasted 2 months. Then he's back on VP. That lasted another 2 months. Then, this is January 2024 now, he goes to Paravision. That one lasted a little bit longer, more like a year and a half. So that's kind of fair. Then he goes to MIBR. That lasted 2 months. Then he joins Paravision again, which is December 25 to February 26. So that's 2 months. And now he's back on OneWin. So this is the guy of 2 months, but for about 3 years or so there, just shy, he's been around the block, I think it is safe to say, in and out of the same teams a couple times even. So kind of wild that he's just not really found his feet since winning that major, it feels like.
Yeah, and I wonder as well, what's kind of the reasoning behind it?
Yeah.
Because it feels like, at least output-wise, that he delivers in that sense.
Pivoted into IGL at one point, didn't he?
Yeah.
Can't quite remember when that was. Maybe that Paravision project, when it first got going.
Yes, he IGL'd right at the start. He was the IGL instead of James when it first got announced.
Yeah.
Sypho, caught. It's a really nice dive in towards B, but Cronus should get this lurking presence. No, Chiron checks, finds, and Leia will play up in front of that window smoke. So he'll catch Ozik too, but as Chiron tries to progress up short, he'll lose his life. Back into a 3 versus 3.
Well, I'm going to get planted. They should be able to hold on the site here. Just got to be careful with some of the oversteps, and yeah, there it is. They don't respect how much control they have towards short. Sawalio looking to get in the conversation. He does some decent damage. They're stacked on top of each other at the van, though. I like this idea. I think briefly a leg spotted there, but Sawalio doesn't seem to have taken note of it. Can't quite see them. Gonna check this van, of course, but there's 2 players to get through. They don't take him down. He does well on one, locates the next, and I don't know, man. Khan's a bit far away to really give this one a go. He doesn't have a kit. I don't think there's necessarily one dropped in a good position for him. He's not even going to try and make it away. So all the kills come in. The round goes the way of 1win, and that double stack on Khan just drags them as far into the site and away from the bomb as possible.
Yeah, it's well done right there, because 1win realized that, especially as that clock was ticking, their best friend was not fighting. You know, a lot of teams will want to put a bit of a forward foot and try and get the kind of the trade in their favor, but no. 1win played the time, and as you saw, right, everyone dies, but it's still a round that's impossible for Nemiga to win. That's the kind of round you want to be seeing. It's quite heads up from 1win, and it makes life uncomfortable for Nemiga. Heading to round number 6, they've not got anything to bring to the table, so a quad stack early towards the A site, which, to be fair, looks like it could be a good read here. Reyes. Oh, my God, he's going to be tested in a second. Is he ready for it? The answer is yes. How about a second? No. Down he'll go. That's a AK recovered by Sawali. He'll take that.
Could be workable. Got to push him from this deagle as well. Sypho. Here's the footsteps. Pretty heavily, in fact, going to be able to... Ooh, send back that they're maybe headed towards B. It is oversold. Couple sets of footsteps heard, of course. That's not the entire team, is it? But they've assumed quietly that it is the entire squad. That's not quite the case, so maybe 1win with some decent knowledge here, but the deagle gets in, eliminates one. They still think it's B, right? Could be deeper in the apartments, you don't rightly know. As it goes on, they'll start to smell a rat, but I think this A bomb site is fully ripe for the taking. It's Chiron that we keep an eye on. He'll be the first one here. Whether he's here in good time remains to be seen. They're taking plenty of time to get in, checking all of their angles, really being meticulous about this. And Chiron going to let them plant, so... Ooh, could work out. Tries to tag through the smoke. Doesn't find the kill. And they're all over the CTs right now. Very hard to know where they're at on this post plant. It's such a weird, slow, but mess coming in. Cronus to hold the flank cleanly. Maybe that is the first kill that was absolutely needed. Sualio on this AK is really the only hope. And now the only one left. Hanging around. Trying to just isolate a player or two if he can. Oh, it's not going to happen. And the team kill. Oh, that's awkward.
Oh, funny. Funny. Hey, confirming the kill. That's what matters. It still ends up being kind of expensive because of the team kill. If it wasn't for that, that's, you know, what ends up being only a couple of casualties against the half buy, and you're not too upset about it. It being 3 kills, though, does change it a little bit. Funny nonetheless. 1win will call for a timeout in a position of strength, which I can really get behind. I have a lot of value behind that. And already 5 out of the first 6 played on your T side is kind of next to nothing to complain about right now. This is exactly what we want to be seeing. So I'm loving the energy that is being brought to the table. I do feel like ever so slightly Nemiga might benefit from this time up themselves. They definitely need to have a conversation, and things obviously aren't looking too pretty.
Yeah, it is true. It is very, very true. Starting to get out of hand fast is the key thing. 1win. Have had some pretty one-sided victories within this cup. And it's interesting, you know, the onus more on Nemiga, it would seem. You know, if you look a little deeper into things here, for them to try and battle back. And ultimately, some experts out there might feel that Nemiga have got a good chance here. 1win, putting that to bed at the moment. Particularly, you know, T-side to kick off. It can be slow going for a few teams. Anything but. In their case, at the moment, mid-control once again. Nemiga resting, trying not to lose anyone here. Barrel spotted. Khan unable to figure out exactly how to drop this player, and he misses the shot. He will be bailed out. He's going to fall. There's another trade coming in as the Palace push is thwarted, and they've done well here on the CT side to respond. Quick jump up has been heard, surely. Still a big fight going down over there. Wow, this is pushed through the smoke from Ozik. Jumps over the top of Sualio, but he'll still find that kill. And Nemiga respond now. They were in the right place at the right time there.
Now we need ever so slightly, well, not even ever so slightly, we do just need a real bit of consistency, to be perfectly honest. Like, this is a side that need to recover as much as they can in this first half. I mean, we're talking about probably with the poor start and a 5-1 down, I would say somewhere in the region. If you can get to 5 rounds, I think you feel somewhat happy about it. Fortunately, we have a tech pause, though. Bit of a couple of these over the last few days. They've been creeping in a little bit more than usual, I'll say. But generally speaking, they've been brief.
Yep, looking good. We are back into the action, so that's good. I do just feel, I don't know, obviously we've started to talk about like the cameras and everything are really quite serious mainly, at the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the updates as well getting a little bit shaky, but yeah, it does feel like the cameras are a big thing at the moment. Players just getting used to that and potentially not streamlined from tournament to tournament to tournament. Khan, quick boost up into the apartments here. Trying to find the first. Oh, we will spot a player out. However, a drop back as Ozik gives it up. The low buy. Obviously, don't want anyone to go down super quick. And you got this AK. That's what they're all working around, the focal point of the round.
One minute 15. Plenty of time. Decide something here. Nice nades. Good amount of chip damage. You take that. Mid-control taken. This is a good position to be in for at least this. Smoking towards apartments to slow them down. They're not committed, but the bomb is in that direction of B, but they've still got plenty of time to cancel.
Well, they fancy it. They do fancy it. Trying to draw attention back towards A. The trajectory of that one, though, might have been spotted from middle, right? So it's not necessarily going to fully sell the ruse. They will start charging in. Lear's in a good spot.
Oh,
nice find from Sypho. Lear kind of fluffs it up ever so slightly, but Sypho standing strong still.
Uh-oh.
Lear goes down. He's had a bit of a mare. Sypho has done absolute God's work to bail them out, and they really lock in for the plant. Chiron is quick with those headshots. Incredible finds from him. We'll deny the bomb plant, but that was dangerous.
And here is the recovery now starting to come to fruition, right? You know, we're getting to ourselves to a point where it's no bomb plants in a round one with bodies kept alive. This is the sort of kind of onus you need to be taken to start chipping away at things. 5-3 should be made to a 4th as well for Nemiga. So they are actually keeping within arm's reach now of one win. Yes, it was that strong start, but the strong start sort of means nothing. At the end of this half is poor, because that's where momentum will swing back towards Nemiga. And we've seen some really good T sides out from these last few days. See, this is a throwaway round. Might even be another B hit, to be honest. Who knows? Bomb is still by spawn, and judging by the fact that they haven't really done anything with it, it might just be a bit of an existence timeout. Timeout without calling a timeout type of vibe, and discuss what we want to do into the last few rounds of the half.
No, that is true. Really, for a moment there, we were in position of like, damn, this is potentially over before it's over. But that seems to have fizzled out quite quick. Can't. Trained in, not quite fast enough. They were trying to bait him that whole time. Those players will be very used to that ramp peak. Sualio here. to spray them down. It's a bit of work, but you will see off 3. The rest of the team able to help out as well. So no brute force of the bomb plant or crazy kills. Now within 1 round. A very fast-moving game here thus far.
A lot of pressure onto 1 win in this next gun round. Lose this in the way they've lost the last couple, and this could be Nemiga actually kind of stealing the lead away at the tail end of the half, which, at the way they're playing, it wouldn't actually be too shocking. Some decent counter-strike being brought to the table. They've finally woken up in towards this final. Early Utah flashing smokes in towards mid. Ramp control going to be taken here. I like this. Also, you know, worth mentioning while we've got him on our screens, it's another great map from Sawalio. The last few days, he's had some real kind of standout maps at times. He wasn't really the name that we were bringing up as the guy to keep an eye on. Generally speaking, you know, it's like a Khan or Kyron or Cypher, but Sawalio's had these moments where he stepped up in big ways. And here's another one, and Khan, that is a quick flick. Kronos caught, and Kickert's left all alone in a 1 versus 5. Bomb on his back, sure, but absolutely no chance, surely, in this 1 versus 5 as he makes his way towards ramp. It's Sawalio here who's going to be the first hurdle he has to overcome. And he just about gets that over the line, but barely. And he's dead to rights in a second as well. Lear will trade. Nemiga tie up this game. They're on fire at the moment.
Yeah, no, definitely agreed. And this is exactly the competition that we wanted. And we are getting it. We are getting it. We've kind of been denied a little bit, I think, the close maps. We've maybe had series that have gone to 3, but not had many close maps in that lower bracket side of things. This is a big one. Difference in prize pool. Difference in the VRS, though. And these are 2 teams at this point in the cycle looking at the next major. But also organizations and players that really benefit from that glorious sticker money, of course, you are going to be after. So a lot of pressure on games like this. And it can really pay dividends getting yourself through to Pro League in the long run. Second cup by now as well. You could win Cup 3. You could win Cup 4. God, if you win both, right? Like, it's not a very challenging prospect to just win 1 game to get that Pro League spot locked in.
Yeah.
So, a lot to play for here.
You're spot on, honestly. You can get yourself kind of a good couple of these cups under your belt and it makes your pathway to Pro League so easy. We saw it happen with Rat, and we saw it happen with Semperfi 104 last year. So they got auto-invited, which is such a great thing to have. And it's good VRS for them winning these competitions. Obviously, considerably harder in EU comparatively to Oceania. No offense to the Aussie Kiwi boys. "40 seconds, and they're going to contact up Khan here. And they come, Swalio. What have you got for us, Swab? Support from Lear will absolutely help as he gets 3 in that initial fight, 4 in total. That's now Nemiga taking the lead from 5-1 down to 6-5 up. What a turnaround.
Yes, sir. You can certainly say that again. Keen turnaround here. Really looking good. And very cool to see. Can they get the big lead, though, of course, take it to that 7-5. You have to bear in mind the map pick of 1 win here. So a lot of pressure on this one. Ancient comes in as what you might feel a slightly rarer pick from Nemiga, given what they've been playing across the course of the lower bracket. But it's a map that they have beaten 1 win on previously, so they go back towards that. Rayos to open us up here, though, now.
First time in a while. Now we actually get that opening kill. That feels like it can be worked with Cypher. Questionable move there to peek in front of that smoke plume. Even despite Khan's kill back, it's still numbers favorable for 1 win here. That is a beaut of a nade, though. 53 points of damage. You take those.
Oh, the smoke. Do we want to head through this? The answer, I suppose, is yes. And their brazen confidence the correct read this time around. Oh, Chiron caught completely with his pants down. And surely you say that's got to be it. It'd probably be a save in any other given round, but this is the final round of the half. So they will indeed give it a look. Latic reveals himself, but by firing off a shot into Leah's cranium. All going to be down to Khan. They know about him now. Not a chance in hell here. Trusty sidearm is out, and they're just throwing everything at him, to keep him back. He does not stand a chance. He's being flanked out as well, just to add insult to injury on this one.
Get a knife.
Maybe even a knife.
Oh, yeah. He's eyeing it up.
Oh, man. That is painful to end out the half, of course. But one win, recover back to 6-6. I think they will be kicking themselves. They couldn't get it more one-sided than that, to be honest. We're going to take a quick break here, but don't go anywhere. This one is heating up. Welcome back in. It has been, as I said, a very, very close matchup, a very hot matchup between these two teams. Exactly what we wanted. It was at one point looking like Mirage was going to be all about one win. Nemiga made it all about them. And we end up being very, very even towards the tail end of that first half. So we'll see moving into the second how things pan out. Maybe took Nemiga a bit of time to get going. Is their T-side going to deliver in the same way?
That's the big question. I think as well, you know, we saw now that for the bulk of that last period of the first half, it was generally Nemiga who were kind of running through with things and looking pretty confident. But it's still a tied game at the half on a very even map as well, statistically speaking, ever so slightly CT lent. But generally speaking, we're where Nemiga are, and we've seen them kind of ramp up in towards games and maybe a little bit slow to start at times. This is still a bit more textbook from them, where I am still concerned about one win. You know, if you kind of isolate, take out the pistol, the force by the early kind of few rounds as well, it is Nemiga who feel like they're in the quite commanding position. And if they can get a pistol as well to start off this T side, then things do become concerning. Very slow pistol going to be called here. We got initial presence making its way out towards A, but worth mentioning, the bomb is not with them here, so This could really just be a complete ruse. The bomb's going to make its way in towards mid, and I guess depending on how well the A hit goes is whether they'll drag that bomb over with them. And it looks like now they are. They've got deep in routes in towards A. So they're going to do exactly that. Flashing towards jungle. No one home. Now they can set themselves up with a CT smoke to come through as well. This becomes really doable. Bomb goes down. There's a flash for Kicker. But no kit. Keep an eye on this.
Still such a curious setup, isn't it? Everybody being left alive. They've left Ozik over at short as well. So a late peeker from him to maybe shoot a few people in the back of the head. We'll find out if he's actually going to be needed by the looks of it. There you go. He does manage to catch one off. We've got to get a player on this bomb, though, and he needs covering. Oh, in the highest regard. Chiron struggling. It's a full 10-second hold, but he cannot get past the defenders. It's going to be close on the defuse. It is very, very close. That bar nearly emptying, but not going to be the case, and one win to take it. And now they themselves can get, once again, as they did in the first half here in the second, a little bit of a buffer zone. Right? We saw them get kind of that 5-1 start, which gave them the breathing room despite Nemiga's resurgence. But at that time, Nemiga didn't go for a force buy in the second round. Here they will with the bomb plot in that previous round and the kills that came behind it. Nemiga need an instant response. If they don't, could be potentially quite concerning, where in the same vein at the start of this map, where one will get that real nice spurt of rounds to keep themselves a fair distance away. Let's see, mid-tech going to come through here. There's a bit of util to work with. Player in towards window. Kick it. Left very low. And this molly is going to make life a little awkward. There is a smoke, thankfully, for Rayos to take a bit of damage, but now also a known quantity. Yeah, that is true. Could come back in the near future. He's going to slowly move away. Late crunch towards mid. It's dry. There's no flash off the back of it. I'm not going to expect a third here, but Leah keeps his gun up. Okay. Fair play to him. I thought that's prime time to just lackadaisically get your knife out, run around the corner, and fair to him. You know, you've dealt with two players holding at bricks. But he half expected a third, and he will get away with it. Attic. Ooh, deleted. And a keen response from Nemiga. The unlikely round, the forced buy going their way.
It's a huge round to take. And it's a point that we've been bringing up a hell of a lot. It's not about the pistols. It's about the force buys. That's what gives you the momentum. You can see, right? You know, for one win, they don't get a choice. They have to reinvest in because of double eco. And because of that, here's where you get the potential of a bit of leg room to work with. And for Nemiga to take a proper lead now. They took one at 6-5, which they only briefly kept the hold of. They can get an 8th here. The 9th comes naturally too because of the low buy to follow for one win. And oh, before you know it, you're getting closer and closer to the finish line on your opponent's map pick, no less. Double stack here in apartments for one win. There's also 2 on towards the site in Get Right. I was about saying, yeah, towards B, this might be a bit of a bloodbath, but it's a slow roll, and the bomb's not even in that direction. The bomb's looking towards A, so Lear might just be more of a ruse than anything.
Lear creeping through here. Oh, just spot the edge of one. It's to draw them in. First kill is big. It's his second man. He might go untraded. He might get his hands onto a rifle. Yes, Christmas come early for Cronus. He will get that AK. He's got armor as well. It's going to be an A hit. They've put all their chips into B, so they've got to get over here fast. Real's eating a lot of nades, somehow able to survive. They really want to flush him out, though. The Molotov will do so. It's all on this AK, which is here in very good time. How does he deal with the rest of this T side? Easier said than done, unfortunately. Bomb faked. The spam gives him away, and he will go down. So they weather that storm, and it will be Nemiga to take the lead.
Was a little dicey for a second. Looks like Latic will just save this to Eagle. Doesn't have any armor to save, but I mean, if the Eagle's better than nothing in towards the next, there potentially might be room in which you can pick up some gun in towards apartments. Gonna go have a look. This is now finally a lead in which they can build upon. There you go. Galil, smoke, all the extras. You take those.
Terrorists win.
8-7. Was a little dicey. Really was. That quad stack is always horrible to deal with. The bomb was never really intending and heading that direction. And even if the B players had got out freely, they might have anyway just wrapped through into CT, into jungle, taken A with the bomb anyway. So whether they died or not, I don't think it made too big of a difference to the round. It was a nice call. Weather the storm as you adequately put. Means they've only got a Galil to work with here. But Latic, who saved the Deagle, not for very long. And he'll fall. Volley towards under kick. It's got to be dead to rights here. Surely. Yes. Yeah, he is. Rails does get one on the turn. That's a nut shot, I'm assuming. Because it looked very fast that he flicks back in towards Con, but it's all for nothing. Bomb will go down. That'll be the round. I don't even think Cronus's Galil will get too much of a look in.
Oh! He's burning. That is unfortunate. Survives for now. The nades chase him, but he is indeed looking to get out. Whether he can or not is, I suppose, up to Chiron. Holding on high. Oh, they're trying to trade off of each other. However, he gets it done. They want this one. Nemiga playing very well. And across the board, they have some solid individuals stepping up. Which is really great to see. And one win, I think, shocked, you know. Starts very well. They think maybe some of the hard work is done. As soon as they hit that wall, they've struggled to get back over it.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. Definitely a concern to be had here. With this next gun round, honestly, a loss here could spell the end, really, for one when it puts... Essentially, where we're at 9-7. There's, at this current momentum, there's 2 gun rounds for one win to work with to try and shut things down. 2 gun rounds and a force buy. He was floating there. That means, you know, point out a bit of a rogueness, but he's a wizard, Harry. And he felt like a wizard. He was floating. He will get that kill. Rails won't, though. But kick it overlooks him towards Con. Latic flashed off the angle. Smoke down in front of him. So A-site now taken. Con smoke and a bit of space to work with. They don't even need to worry too much about CT. They don't have to plant for it. Some teams want to take a site and then take CT with it. Nemiga are doing the opposite. They're purposely leaving it open and trying to funnel them in towards this fight. And Khan's here with the AWP on the angle. It's who spots who first, and it's going to be Khan on top. So Walio gets the information on towards the last of Ozic. Khan cannot hold the cross, which he hits the shot. 3 kills to his name. And a 10th on the board. 3 ahead, 3 away for Nemiga. They are close now to stealing away 1 wins map pick.
Yeah, looking fantastic. And I mean, just at the perfect time, Khan also stepping up, right? He was maybe the only individual that has looked a little flatter. Not bad necessarily, but just not quite at the top of the scoreboard, which is where we've seen him all week long, and he has a moment. So Nemiga drilling very, very well. Obviously quite warm for this one. Took a bit of time to get into it, but once they have, you know, the slow late game build, I guess, that they've gone for has really paid off here. It's going to be a timeout coming in for 1 win. They'll have a half buy in this round, but it should be 11 for Nemiga, and then all down to that potential last rifle round.
Let's see. Definitely feels like the beginning of the end, kind of where we're currently at. So we got quad 5-7. Latic will keep hold of his money so he can have an AWP in towards the next round. The next round will be a bit of a do or die spot. Latic's going to boost the 5-7s up in towards ladder. Mid control taken. for free. You can even see maybe a little bit of caution being shown here by Nemiga because they're just worried about a stack, which is the right thing to worry about. Oh, it's a half bite. That has tagged Cronus. They should know about a second player in towards ladder, hence why the nades come in.
Not able to take him just yet, but they will indeed be aware of it. Just very simple stuff here, guys. You know, you don't need to stress out. You don't need to do anything too fancy. Make space for those guns to do the work. Fake out towards mid. Just keeping some attention there. The B site itself is actually empty. They don't know that. And they're, ironically enough, going to give their game away by throwing all this utility. I don't think it'll matter too much. Kicker is around on the rotation quite fast. He needs like 2 or 3 kills from here, though, if we are to believe. Could indeed go overlooked. Seems like they are patiently waiting for a few peaks to come in their way. And yeah, not panic planting or anything like this. Really well done to just make sure that they absolutely get this round in the bag.
Rails, any X's would be nice. Feels pretty unlikely, and he knows that it's not likely either. He's hoping somebody tries to X out of market. They don't need to. You can already see them posturing for a nice safe save as Khan and Cypher are leading the charge away. Up to 11 now. This gun round is everything for 1 win. Lossing towards this one, and your chances of staying alive, I mean, definitely for winning it in regulation are more or less 0. And over time, not far off in terms of how slim those possibilities are. Good work. With those gimmicks as well, you want to try and make it expensive, and that's something that, which is a damning sign that 1 win aren't really even doing. I mean, the one casualty, it's not enough to make Nemiga care. I mean, look at that T-side econ. They are absolutely flushed with cash. 11 to 7, 4 ahead now, 2 away from a spot like this, and especially with how well they've been playing on this T side, it doesn't feel losable. And it absolutely is Nemiga's game to lose now. They're in complete control.
100%. This is the last chance it feels for them to lose that control. What have 1 win got in the back pocket? Doesn't really look like anything too fancy. So perhaps more of a strategy change than a tactics change. Attic boosted up somewhat later on into proceedings. So that might be unexpected. He does go looking as soon as that smoke goes down. Flash not quite deep enough. You got to hit this shot though. Swalio will be taking that peek any moment now. Or does he expect aggression to come his way? A lot of questions here. In the middle. Fight goes the way of Cronus just about. He's looking for a bit more. However, Latic falls in the app. So which kill is more valuable? There's a big one from Rios. The rotations are coming in fast from the CT side. And the shots are indeed landing. Swalio left as the lone AK to try and create some space here. The AWP holding his advance. One comes in. He got nervous for the peak as he should be, but Swalio uses the space to his advantage to find another kill. Cronus has crept round while all this has been happening. You figure the catch has to come in, and a 4 versus 2 before our very eyes. Swalio looking for the ace. Reyes does not give it to him. The AWP, however, will deliver. Oh my goodness, Nemiga deservedly up to 12.
What a wild round. And it's Swalio again. You know, we've highlighted him so many times over the last few days. And again, it feels like with so much firepower in this side, it's so easy to be kind of overshone. But some of the rounds that he has are ridiculous. 23-9 for Swalio too. Incredible showing. 1 will squeeze out a bite. Empty down a FAMAS around the M4s as they kick it. And Ozik will kind of shore up the util. But they haven't had any hero players over towards 1 win. There's no standout or stars there that have been able to alleviate the pressure of a lot of these rounds. Best they've got is Cronus and Kicker on 12, but they're both sitting negative. It's a completely different story on the flip side. No one is negative over towards Nemiga. Everyone's having their moments, but they have got that superstar.
Crazy to kind of bring that up, actually. the fact that there's no one negative. Usually you do see one, maybe two players in a scoreline like this. It's not like it's been total domination. So yeah, kind of rare.
Nice find. Important find.
In towards B now, I think Osik is the big man. Jumps up at the right time, catches them both looking in the same direction, but it's Sawalio again. Just keeps them coming. Huge round in the previous, and he's still got that energy pumping through his veins. Insane stuff from him to just give them the B-bomb site, and you can see they're so very scared to move in here. Going to try and get through that smoke. Sawalio moves forward. It's a lot of damage done. Liz also found one in all of this. Meanwhile, Chiron is the contingency. He's up on the boost. He's unexpected, and he will deliver for the final two. Nemiga, 13-7. They drop one round in that second half, losing the pistol, winning out the force buy, and then not stopping until they take the victory. I mean, that is a statement. The map pick of 1 win does not go their way. A map that they've had great success on, and a map that they pick into this series with a previous victory against Nemiga in mind. It has been flipped in a massive way here, opening up our grand final.
Yeah, and again, remember, it was 5-1 up for 1 win. And 2 rounds from there on onwards, I mean, they have decimated them. That is such a statement by Nemiga. And now they've got their map pick coming up next. It is hard to fathom a way you can throw this now with how well they just performed there on that Mirage, which isn't even the strongest real map for them. It's definitely the weakest of this veto. Up next is Ancient. It's a very good map for Nemiga. They've got some great wins under their belt, including the last time they played only 6 days ago, a 13-4 over 1 win. We'll see if they can repeat that after the break. Welcome back in. Map number 2 about to get underway here after a dominant display from Nemiga. It's actually hard to fathom a way that One Win can recover this. They were so lackluster for a large in part of their own map pick of Mirage, so it's really spiced things up heading in towards this ancient map in which Nemiga have been absolutely loving at the moment. A lot of wins under the belt, very, very strong, and a lot of reps too. And to make things all the more sweeter, when they played only 6 days ago, Nemiga won 13-4 on this map pick. So all signs point to a 2-0 now.
Yeah, very much so, I think. In a relatively surprising fashion, you would have expected a better fight from One Win on map number 1. Yes, potentially could have been a loss, right? It's difficult to split these two teams. At the best of times, we have more information than not, I suppose. But yeah, there's still always going to be a chance at the opposite team getting the upset. The Ancient does stick out in terms of the pools, but also, of course, in terms of this veto as being slightly different in that sense. One Win still do have some decent wins, but not as recently, right? It was good for them in November, the start of the year, but not so much in March, actually. It seems like it has been a more difficult one for them. A lot of losses, and only really one dominant victory, I would say, that does come a couple days ago against K27. Is that going to make the difference here, I suppose, is the big question. And Nemiga hoping the answer is no, and I think going to try and prove that the answer is no with a pretty good-looking map themselves as well. We had a great showing in a lot of ways, able to fully eliminate their opponents in most rounds, not a lot of saves happening, and we had, I think, it might have been the case towards the end, I may well fact myself here, but ultimately they had a very solid-looking scoreboard with nobody having a negative performance in the end. And I am just having a quick little look, and that was the case.
Yes,
oh, no, Sypho.
Yeah.
Sypho was 11-12, so unfortunately not fully the case in the end. But
Pretty sure that was the final round as well, bless him.
Yeah. Close. Pretty damn close.
But, I mean, either way, it's such a good showing from the Nemiga. There was kind of next to nothing to really critique them about. You could maybe say a bit of a slow start, but the second they really shored up their finances, it was only one-way traffic. 5-1 down they started, yes, but everything else from then on was so unbelievably good. So, lot to like. Really comfortable Counter-Strike from Nemiga. They just had everything. The firepower coming through, they had the drop, the cores were considerably better as well, and there was so much to like. Credit to him, Sawali had an absolutely fantastic game as well. 25-10, a 2 rating, and a plus 9.5 round swing is a bonkers stat line to have. And it looks like we are all but ready to get this one underway. There's our map number 2 here. It is the pick of Nemiga who start on this T side. And, well, judging by how good their T side was on Mirage, it could be another solid one again.
That is very true. That is very, very true here. And we'll see if they can pick up where they left off, I suppose. We are now into the action. Brief delays getting us going, but excited for this one. One Win. Is it a capitulation? Is it a crumble for them? Or will it be a bounce back on their opponent's map pick? An uphill battle, to say the least. Khan flashed beautifully. Will eventually get taken down. There's some assistance from on high. Sypho takes a CT, so the numbers stay even.
Bonus. Doolies. We'll dip in and catch Sypho, and Ozik might have 2 dead to right to him. That bomb spilled forward, but he's got to reload. Bring around the Rosies for him. How has he possibly got away with the second there? It's a great round. Only the 1 casualty. You're very happy with that if you One Win, considering the strong start that's required on this. That'll absolutely help.
Yeah. Brilliant stuff. And for a moment, felt like there was going to be a way back in for Nemiga. Nice trade in middle from them, but not to be in the end. Really massively found. And they'll go for the straight eco here. Just a few upgraded pistols. P250 and the Deagle is most notable. But, of course, a question of whether that's able to find a headshot to kick us off. They're going to look towards A again. Try and create a bomb plant. It's actually somewhat doable. Might need one head to roll, though. Oh. I've been heard by the donut player? Not quite sure. I think so, yeah. As, you know, Rails has a look up top. He wasn't expecting another player over there. Ozik, his aim drawn. They're really on about getting this bomb down. Unfortunately, the window's closed. Sypho trades back. Kicker goes down as well. What is going on? The damage is pretty monumental from the T side. They just not netted that bomb plant that they wanted.
Leah. Long rotate over for him. Luckily, there's plenty of time, but I don't think it's going to make any sort of difference. He's waiting, expecting them to come hunting for him, but why would they? One win don't need to. They know they can just shepherd the bomb here and see the round off by the timer alone. Shoulder spotted and dropped by Latic. Nice work for him. Kronos has started really well in towards this second map. Up to 5 kills now, and a good job for a bit of a multi. There's pressure put on towards that site, and they do still make it expensive, which is worth mentioning. And on a low buy round, you'll absolutely take that. Now in towards the guns. We're slightly used to these slower starts by Nemiga, so it's not really too much to worry about right here. At this point, in towards map number 1, they got around on the board, Nemiga. Got 2-1 and then ended up losing a few in succession. If they can get the 2-1 and keep the consistency up a little earlier, and we go back to being shelled off and under pressure once again. Flash over. How? Rails looked like he was dabbing there. I'm so surprised he gets away with it. Both him and Rails are left very, very vulnerable. Oh, can't this spot one, but took a second or two to react.
Sure. Got heads in other places. Kicker dancing around. As seems to be the new meta, catching on, holding angles, staying constantly on the move. And it does seem to work. Slightly more often than it used to for the CTs. I think that off angle is pretty good in that situation anyway. Nonetheless, man advantage, 1 win. Chiron. Oh, perfect. On the timing. Isolates both. I was going to say he's about right with this. That'll leave the B bomb site right for the taking. Latic hidden away in the cubby. Deletes the first and the second. Oh, man. Massive moment from him. Can Chiron take him down? Can Chiron win the 1 versus 2? He's got part 1 complete. Is he aware of this next player? You might say so. Not a lot of bullets in this magazine. He does seem to have his head on the swivel. He's going to clear the angle all the same, and Chiron takes out Ozik. That's the most unlikely kill of them all. Absolutely ridiculous round comes out from him.
Such a weird round as well. And I wonder, off the back of this round itself, whether things would have been a little bit more comfortable with that initial mid-fight had come through. Would it have been a simple round? It's still good to get it on the board. But you can see here where it obviously forces a bit of an awkward reinvesting for Nemiga. A couple of Mac 10s and a Galil, but on the flip side, 1 win flushed for cash. And the reason why they're not in a position to force buy, which is generally what a lot of teams would do here, is because of how expensive the round prior to that was, right? Down to 2 on the back of the kind of low to no buy with the pistols. So a long-lasting effect of, yes, a lost round, but an expensive round in round number 3. Oh, 2 even. Should be a tie game here. They're going for a mid-crunch. Full eco for 1 win. So in these sort of rounds, any sort of kills you get would be nice. But they're moving in towards B. Very soon they'll realise no one's here. But Chiron, he'll fall sort of for nothing.
A little bit.
That AK so definitely kind of saved, though. You just run away with that.
Perfect round in the previous. Yeah, absolutely. I think he should. Oh, there's a mini hunt on the way. Khan might be able to cut him off. Rails kind of knows that. Man, not overextending and going over the path most travelled. Make sure to save that AK. Still a hunt on the way. And he's still closer to the action than you might like. Trying to find a corner. It's comfortable here. Khan has other ideas, and we'll take him down. And now, all of a sudden, it's Khan with the prize AK here. So, that little exchange works out quite nicely for Nemiga at large, but the round itself going the way that we would expect. Of course, one win right back in with it, looking to answer back and regain their lead.
That's it. And now again for one win as this buy comes back into play. It's a similar thing of what we saw in towards that second half of Mirage, where they got into this real rut. It was full buy-in, no success, eco rinse and repeating. They're hoping to really cut the bleeding a lot earlier here. But a couple of moments which felt close in towards that second half, but it was a really good C-side from Nemiga. They're very good at pulling players out of position and forcing over rotations. They will take this cave control, and rather than fighting, Cronus will just smoke and tuck himself up close. Off rip, this looks like, I was going to say a B hit, but I mean, this A move it's a fake ultimately. The bomb's not here, but it is starting to rotate over.
Yeah, it's kind of a fake if it needs to be.
Yeah.
But maybe got some legs behind it.
Draws numbers here, at
All
least.
3 CTs coming in from this CT angle, though, I think is pretty dangerous. I don't know how I feel about this. We've got 2 in a donut for the T side. Like, again, these setups are strange, but they have plenty of time to change their tune. Go B if they want, or see if A still delivers, right? They have plenty of time.
All goes quiet. No decision just yet. Sypho. Definitely would have heard that step. It's left to be cleared first, but he could actually get one dead to right if he gets a good swing onto Rayos, but he can't. How about the second? Drive by Mac 10, always difficult to deal with. Into the opens, a bold move, and Sawalio will find the trade on kicker. That allows a bomb plant. He's low, though. Against his MP9, this is a scary, scary gun to go against. Cronus has got the pistol out. There's an M4 down, which he'll pick up. And Sawalio waiting for the swing, which he nails. Crosshair placement is absolutely perfect. Nemiga, take a lead.
Yeah, looking pretty dangerous as well. You have to argue a couple things. There's some bonus elements to this one, but also the fact that they have gone against the odds. They are kind of fearless there, actually. Surely you have to be able to read that it's like they expect us on A, should be well defended here, and yet we're still going to be confident on our A hit. Confident that we can just win the fights. So, I don't think it's all that deep from them, and yet they make it work. Khan here. Try and bail his teammate out if he needed it. All the same, though, we'll both clean up house. 5 versus 3 very, very quickly over the cards here, and I think they should be able to see this one off. Just a case of whether they do it flawlessly. Are they going to lose a head in the proceedings towards this B bomb site? Still 2 players on the defense ready for them. That Deagle mainly that we look towards. He's not able to give us anything. Just Ozik then. So, yeah, Nemiga really storming through these few rounds.
Here's a little surprise.
That's kind of funny.
I think by sort of due diligence, they sort of figured out that this is the last place he could be.
Yeah.
21 nonetheless. 4-2. Timeout taken, but by Nemiga. We keep saying it, you know, we like these timeouts from positions of strength. It's a sign of good things, but it's one that one win will happily utilize themselves. A lot of voices in this team, and also a moment as well for the coach of Cal, I think is how you pronounce his name. C-A-U. I assume that's Cal, like Macau. First big kind of coaching role for him. He was with that team called Forward for a while, which I remember them playing in around the tier 2. They had a decent couple of players for kind of a minute. I mean, they had Dozier on that team way back in 2023 for a little bit. Yeah, throwback. But that's where Zelo kind of initially came from as well.
Okay, sure.
Moo was in that team too, so another big name vet. Hado, also kind of another one of those players who kind of came through Kazakhstan. I think he might have been on that 100 ping God side.
The B here. Oh, Latic. Banging them there down the ramp. He'll get deleted himself.
Kara's quick,
3
man.
versus 3. Yeah, he's really looking good. He wants this one. A match for him to sink his teeth into. Maybe been a bit lazy the past few days, just flying up into these angles. Yeah, he's been unleashed. As he often is. Crisper, I think it's safe to say. He's the one that we've been criticizing most on this Nemiga team. Cronus will manage to get a catch onto one. The trade is there. It's into the 1 versus 1 all of a sudden. It's been a pretty chaotic one. I suppose this is what happens when you let Chiron in there. He will sprinkle the chaos. Ozik has fully given the control, happy to concede this plan.
He's so low, Ozik is the issue. Also doesn't have a kit either. One smoke to work with Khan. Swing and a find. Another player who's so confident, and you know, you give him the right to fight, and oh my god, will he? And he picks up his favorite AWP too, to sweeten the deal as Nemiga find their 5th. And out the gate early here on this T side, right? And we saw a fantastic Mirage T side, and we're getting more of the same in towards this. But Karen, that double opener is kind of beautiful from him. He's so good at giving his team space, especially in situations which look dicey. I mean, Latic is a double opener. Statistically, that's a round that should always lead towards the CT from a spot like that, but there's other things to say about it. Nade does tag Ozik on the jump up, but he's immediately dropped, and Rayos himself, they both fall. Cronus on the edge of this smoke. No matter how he wants to pop through, it surely will be a death sentence, and they can just leave Leah here as this insurance policy behind these smokes. They don't need to commit to this at all. They got a double stack in towards Red Room. But at best, they get a constellation kill of a Mac 10. I don't think it's going to affect the round. Kick it might, though. Up close to the 5-7 for the first. And the second for missed shot by Khan. Might be better off with that AK from the previous round rather than the AWP. Uh-oh. And there's that move by Cronus. This round's flipped massively.
Yeah, I think they'll be kicking themselves in a big way. Lear's been hurt. And lazy on the clear. He still manages to find the kill, which could be a godsend.
Only one tag
250 doesn't even do that much damage to him, to be honest. No, oh, God, they both run out of ammo at the same time. That is hilarious. Wild West, who's going to pull the pistol faster?
See, that's the new reloads, man. People will be reloading in spots like that.
Yep, no, it is very true. Just in the back of your mind, isn't it? What works better? Chiron. Exactly who you want in this situation. Maybe caught them swapping up, but it's Cronus. He's the one that opened up all this madness to see it off. Big fine from 1win against the grain, and an opportunity for them to maybe pick up a few more rounds.
Yeah, it's a great round to find. It's just a little bit of chaos, right? And again, 1win are happy in their own right. You know, we've spoken about somebody like a Chiron who we know will want to fight. We know will have this feeling of I can kind of make a difference here. But they've got a few players of their own who can thrive in the carnage, and Cronus does well, despite running out of ammo. 3 kills to his name. And with that being said, a 2-round game and back into a comfy full buy now with an all-in response for Latic, who last time out he had it, of course got that double opener. Just a couple of small mistakes, a couple of oversights, and Nemiga end up costing them.
Oh, nice find from Khan as Latic overextends. Simple A hit here. They've caught them in, as many teams do, that sort of transition period of like the A-bomb site not quite having a lot of defense in the early stage. And they're scrambling to try and pick up the pieces here. The T's have maybe gone in a bit too deep, and it's that drop of the bomb out in the open with a slightly open CT angle, it looks like. I don't know that there was a smoke there in the first place, or that was remaining. For sure. So they will get their smokes out now in this 3 versus 3. It's a weird kind of game state, but we have Sypho from behind. No one in Temple, he says. Got front coverage as well from Khan.
Did he spot his head? He might have.
Maybe a little.
Could have gone for the knife, honestly. Risky to do it now, though. In a 3 versus 3, but We're smoking towards Donut. This is a good post plant. They're so spaced out too, which is a great way to play it. Sawalio, there's the first. Does he know about the second? Well, he's going to check it. And my God, does he? Sawalio, 3 kills to his name. We've seen so many multi-kill rounds from him, and that's another beaut.
Bang. Yeah, Sawalio looking good, man. Really great series from him. Chiron making an argument as well. We've got to make a bit of a decision, don't we, for our grand final MVP type player. And I think between the two of them, the running is pretty close at the moment.
Oh, I don't know.
Sawalio's impact on Mirage, though, is just nuts.
20,
right at the end,
25
especially.
and 10. Like, I think Sawalio's leading by a fair margin, but it depends how this map plays out. Especially if he keeps up his form. And with Chiron being dead...
Now's the chance. Chase those ecos.
Chase those ecos, my king. Yeah, what was Chiron in the end, map 1? 14 and 12, 0.94 compared to the 25, 10, 2 rating. It'd have to be an absolute steamer of a map by Chiron. Sawalio will die. MP9 I was looking for more, but surely now impossible. No kit for Cronus.
Yeah. Hadn't noticed that. That'll make a big difference. However, the tap could draw them out. They're not going to panic. It's a good job that they don't. Khan sees him off with the 5-7. I thought for a moment, just like me, they might, you know, really throw caution to the wind and go flying into him, but not the case. Well held for Nemiga.
He doesn't run away with the numbers, but I find Khan so fun to watch. I mean, I thought that for a while. Like, he's just, like, mechanically unbelievable.
I think gets the better of him sometimes, you know, having that mechanical ability, but also, like, belief. Few overfaces, few repeats, few angles where he's trying to hit, like, the craziest flick.
Yeah.
Which in the bigger games is going to cost him, you know? In these types of games, can be inconsistent. When he's punching down, he can take over games for sure.
Once again, that A site become a real pressure point and is vulnerable here. Karen gets that bomb down. Ozik's a known quantity as he's spamming through that smoke, but should all be dead to rights. One also spotting towards CT2 on the left-hand side. Sawalio ready for that engagement if it ever does come, but to be honest, unless a couple of quick kills come through, I'd be saving here. And that's if they can, because Cypher's in the back lines and he's going to make it oh so painful. And goes kick it too, so it will be 2 saving.
Ooh. There's space for them to hunt this. I don't know if they're going to get away with said save. Another opportunity. Sawalio trying, forces the shot out, and there you go. That's the orb. That's the big one. So we don't see Cypher, who's low HP, fully hunt. Cronus saves his, but it's the orb that they wanted for sure. They're not going to get it. Nemiga looking to put him to bed pretty quickly here now. 9-3 on the cards. Grand final could be over a lot faster than we were expecting this evening. Nemiga's hot streak in the lower bracket looks set to continue.
Yeah, agreed. This is great work. It honestly is. No matter if they get this fan around or not, you'd assume that job should be done from a spot like this. Oh, it's a team kill to Khan's Molly, of all things. And Ozik's in the backlines here. Might get overlooked. Oh my God, that's ugly from Ozik. Needed to guarantee a kill there because this could still get painful. Rayos will trade and Cronus sees off the last 4 rounds. Is all 1 win get at the half. It's a big ask for them heading in towards this second half. We're going to have to see because this is still on track for that 2-0. We'll see after the break.
Looking like a swift finish then, if everything goes to plan for Nemiga. They have started very, very well. A small blip in the middle, but ultimately it has looked like a fantastic series throughout, and this map is looking to conclude that as well. Nemiga, yeah, just very, very surprising how well they are playing, or maybe how weak one win are playing. It's difficult to tell. I think it is Nemiga, though, to be honest with you. The individuals, the shooters, as we've been saying more recently, seems like a lot of these types of teams have been finding great success. Look absolutely fantastic. So is that going to continue into the CT side? I suppose we are about to find out.
Pistol round, an absolute necessity for one win. You don't find it, you're in a lot of trouble. Dooley's under pressure. Molly might keep them in. Where we are now, the USPLP ground. This is looking like a death sentence, and Kroner's going to get 2. One win, their success on pistols might just continue here. Hard to retake this one, especially without a kit.
No, that is true. And they will feel it. The Julies are the big difference maker here, potentially. Zawalio's look good as well. Moves that crosshair fast. Finds the first, looking for a bit more. Creeping forwards. Will get taken down, though. The Glock getting the better of him and Leah. All onto Chiron, who was a late starter. Really just waiting for those Julies to get something done. And they don't. It will be one win with the pistol then. A really, really strong opportunity for them to potentially close the gap. Chiron stuck around and will be punished for that.
Great start. I think as well, for one win, we need such a good run out the gates to even have that belief. Because, you know, if you boil it down to just gun rounds in this series so far, so the first 3 halves that we've had now of play, it's been like 90% Nemiga who have been winning out on top. One win have got their rounds from Ecos to pistols, the lower buys. That's where they found their real success, bar on maybe like 3 or 4 occasions. It's proof of just how much of a level ahead they are at the moment. Do get a force buy from Nemiga, which I'm surprised they go for, considering that they've not force bought in situations like this twice already, and then immediately got the gun rounds to work for them. Well, you know, we've discussed this before, and I think in this instance, I feel like it's a lot down to kind of their own confidence. Like, it's a real belief that we can make these pistols work for us. Maybe overconfidence, though. We'll find out.
That's a fair point. Starts off a little quiet here, as they will find space in the donut. Being watched by Zawalio, who is always a scary name to see come up on your screen. Smoke will go down, that splits them up. Deagle unsuccessful. I think that's going to be that, honestly. Might even be an argument to just save what you have, but they will try and burst forwards. Ooh, can't deny the bomb plant. That would have been big. Reset the round, not going to be the case. So what is the answer here? Is there a kit dotted in? I don't think so. Try and get a smoke on top of the bomb, and it doesn't quite work. I don't think there's much that they can do about this. Quick damage onto the map. They'll continue to find frags. MP7 and a tap here. Both of them in the donut. Could get a little freaky. The MP7 brings it close. Surely can't get anything done. There was a kit, but spilled all the way on the other side of the site. It's very much down to the wire for one win, but they still take it.
It's a good effort, though. Fair play. It will keep things very expensive. But it does mean that now one win should be making this a one-round game. The 6th secured, the 7th should come without breaking that much of a sweat, considering that was a force buy and they now have to eco here. So close, sure, but unless they can make this round expensive, it won't really have too much of a residual effect in the early portion of this half. So, with that being said, these are the right steps here by one win. I like this little move down ramp. Couple of bodies here, a dink, a trade, and a recoverable weapon. Cypho, you're in trouble, surely. And a drive-by MP7 will make sure of that Deagle. Oh, yeah, we love those. So, Alio, any more for any more? No, not quite. Still, though, Aaron's up here quite quickly, but Rayos is quicker to react.
Leah, with his knife out, looking, there it is, for the AK. And he should be able to make it out, in all fairness. So every single round has been work for one win of varying degrees, but it's not like they have just cleaned up around, which sometimes you expect, and often we do see, even with a force buy, those pistol conversions go very, very well. So constantly under stress. Constantly under duress. Maybe Nemiga are in prime position to be stealing away the most important round of the second half so far. Will be a pretty hefty buy coming through. There's space to get an AWP in play, I think, if they really wanted to make it happen, but it'd come at the cost of different bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Up to them, really. They will indeed go for it. Managing, yeah, to sort of spread it out, but you see Cypho, he's like no head armor, lacking util, that kind of thing.
All right. One round game, though. I don't think enough financial pressure put onto the T side as well, where even if Nemiga win this, they have to go back-to-back to break that econ once again. So, at the very least, one would have a bit of breathing room. Leia spots one. You know, a bit of damage dealt towards Rayos and Cronus. But already a big B lean here. No mid presence, no A presence either. How quick are the reactions? I can't. He could flash in towards this fight, but it looks like they might just go dry, which is not always a recommended thing, but he'll miss the flick, but they overlook the man up close. And there's where a nice trade comes through, but Khan over flicks. And that'll cost him his life. Cypho's going to get dinked too. When Molly at his feet, he now has to wait for support. He's in a bit of trouble.
Oh, big fines, though, as they push forwards. One win with the aggression. Pulling off some massive kills. Sawalio will be left 1 versus 2. Is anyone that you want? Maybe this is the guy. He's got that kit. He's got plenty of utilities. Leaving it late. Leaving it very late indeed. Going to spot the barrel as he creeps through slowly. Knees shot off. Ozik does not stay alive, and I think he's got enough time. I think he's done it, Neo.
Wow.
Sawalio's contacting. They gave him too much space, too much respect, and he absolutely capitalizes.
Sawalio continues to be an absolute superstar. What a bailout as well. What a necessity of a round. Credit to him. So unbelievably sharp. He doesn't shy away from those fights ever. Such a reliable factor, man. Might actually just double check, especially now that we've got a timeout. Statistically, who leads the tournament? Now, they're generally going to get thrown off by some of the earlier performances. It's actually Forkies and Daco from Rune Eaters who are kind of leading the way. Latix had a good tournament too. Cypho's up there as well, but oh yeah, I've been thoroughly impressed with Sawalio.
Yeah.
And as a whole
Maybe
as well,
wasn't...
Nemiga, like rating-wise, like overall for the entire team, second highest in this tournament. Only Rune Eaters ahead of them. They only played 4 maps compared to Nemiga, who've played 21. I assume this is probably their 22nd too. So, I mean, 1.15 across 22 maps played, if not more. Like, that is a really, really good statistic to have. But this has been a complete team-up performance. And I guess from what we're seeing here, like, you know, thoroughly deserve that they're in the lead with a map up.
Yeah, for sure. I was just going to say, like, it maybe is... Even just the past couple series, we've seen Swalio come into his own and look a lot better than maybe that first game we caught from them. So, it's good to see as the playoffs have gotten going. Chiron opened up there, despite what felt like a disadvantageous fight. Cronus, not sure if he was spotted in the same vein with a CT spotted. Do they want to go beyond that threshold? They're just looking for an easy kill rather than a challenging one. And it's not going to come to them, so... Advantage. Short-lived. I felt like it was something they could sit on. Unfortunately, Lear does get caught. Can't. Just about keeping his cool. Yorp's crept up mid. It's another all-over-the-place, individually fragging base kind of round here. 3-on-3 as the dust settles.
Sypho. No, he should have been too dead to rights there, but he was actually too patient. However, that was bomb spotted. It's good information, and because of that, you can actually see naturally where they wanted to rotate. Gone. He managed to get back over towards the site. Spilling in through the red room. 25 seconds. We do not have a lot of time here. They would rather fight the AWP, which I think is the smart call. Doesn't hit the shot on the cross. Neither the second time of asking. How about the big number 3? Just about avoids the HE. Oh, and surely dead to right in a second. He will be, and it's all on Chiron. 1v2 turn 1 versus 1. Tag on to kick it and a drop as well. Another 1 versus 2 for this CT side. Clutches keep them ticking and keep them thriving as they now hit double digits.
This is crazy though, dude. Like,
it is.
These rounds are very hard to follow from our perspective. So, I mean, imagine playing in them. But yeah, that is wild. Oh, bro, it was a big moment. The last second panic flash from Khan as well, just making all the difference there, maybe. Unbelievable. Will leave 1 win reeling. They contemplate what to do here. They are going to buy. That puts you at a lot of risk, right? You lose this one, it goes to 11. We would say as well on paper you should be losing this one. If they don't get a bomb plan, right, it's going to look very, very rough. And they will most likely be playing for overtime. And most likely be playing with lesser weaponry. Unless they can pull it out of the bag. Kicker says yes.
To get up close. Inviting in some pressure. Triple towards B. It's mid presence too, which can cut rotations if they decide to cancel. The classic double stack as well, always very difficult to deal with. But actually, funny enough, they're just going to leave 1 there. No, he sticks around. Okay, I was going to say, Sypho looked like he was tempted to go back towards the site. That's normally not advised. Rayos, I think, spotted Swalio there. Just as he was tucking himself back in. Smoke red room. Swalio gets his. How many more has he got for us? You'd assume none, but he actually gets a second before dropping. Good effort, good find, but the A side's open. It's a foot race in which the T side will win.
Yeah, bomb plan is, as I said, very important here. Just about scaling it up and getting more than this. CTs have to be very careful with how they play this one. Sypho, in particular, Kicker, who's already had a bit of a round, is looking to catch off another player. Taking their sweet time on this, just waiting for that smoke to dissipate before making any moves. And late from Sypho or quick? It seems like he is going to try and join the same sort of timing. A lot of steps on the site itself. He wins out his fight nonetheless. It's all going to be on Ozik. It's a tap on the bomb. They're a little on top of each other.
Ooh.
But thankfully, Chiron had half an eye on it. That is close. I think if those players get sprayed down or caught up in that fight, it would have been 1 wins round. Very, very close in the end.
Yeah. I love that mid-crunch that we're going to get. Especially that MP9 coming in towards Shelf to support too. 11-7. Time is rapidly running out. Are we buying here? Kick it's down to 100, so that might actually just be a hero AK. Yeah, looks like it. Hero AK for Kick It. Surprising person to put it on, I will say. Especially when Cronus has been farming and has full armor himself. Might be a little bit of that buddy system, though. AK goes in first. Keep trying to kind of pick it up and make something of it. Leah has spotted. Yeah, actually spotted at least 2 there, if not more. Do they know their unknown quantity? You can even see a wrap coming through from mid as well. But there's the opener. Gonna get 1. Traded on the site as well. Looking for more, but they can't. Cronus and scooped up that AK, did well. Think that'll come forward. Latic spotted on the site as well. Nade will come round. They're chasing him down, but a trade will come through. The martyrdom with that nade. It's all on Chiron. It's already already a 1 versus 2. And considering that Latic's not got armor, you assume he's got a better chance in this one. Smoke, flash, and a kit to work with. But time is ticking. Smoke on towards the bomb on the top. He's spotted. Latic sees him off, and 1 win. An unlikely round to keep that lead in a reachable kind of distance.
Yeah, that's such a big find. Banged. Absolutely banged. Cronus with a great round. The touchdown, bank shot nade, trick shot nade is kind of insane, but doesn't make a difference in the end, so it will be forgotten about for sure. And Nemiga, you can see them panicked. Absolutely panicked here. As they take the timeout, they are on a pretty weak buy of their own. So this could very quickly close up. 1 win, get 9. Break the bank. Make it 10. And then win 1 more rifle round. They might even steal the map pick. So Nemiga, I think, have dropped the ball massively in that previous round to, at least in our minds, long-term picture and whatnot, secure the overtime. It's not the way you want to think as a player, but you needed that round for sure.
You're spot on. Absolutely spot on. Definitely some pressure on now, and actually like a pathway in front for 1 win. Fairly decent nade. Jump peek for information. Ooh. Probably the smart call not to overswing that. Both Sypho and Khan seem tempted. I mean, Khan still very much is tempted. Oh, God, that's a left eye peek for Khan. He's actually very fortunate to get away from that unscathed. Same can't be said for Ozik. Down he'll go, but Kick It will trade. He's left low, though. This round still favours Nemiga, even despite them having a lesser buy. But a lot of this feels down to really what Khan and this AWP can do. And they don't realise it yet 1 win either, but A-site is open.
Yeah, a few risks being taken, I suppose. Nemiga doing their damnedest here. Smoking quite deep. 40 seconds. We've got loads of lane control as well, so going to be a slow going regain of that control. Now down to 30. Failed smoke? What the hell is that smoke designed for? And Khan is going to be catching them off guard because of that. Cronus creep forwards into the 2-man setup. Surely unbeatable. Doesn't even find the first. The bomb going to be spilled at the feet of the CT side. And they find an unlikely buy of their own. Not quite as unlikely, to be fair. There was still some good guns and armor and whatnot in here. Utility as well. Rotated perfectly. But they will see it off with only 1 casualty.
Yeah.
1 win. Just never getting themselves going in this series.
Fortunately for 1 win, surely it's run try. I mean, look at what we're going to be getting in terms of a buy. Does Kicker even have anything? Okay, he's got a Tech 9 at least. Not for a second he was going to be coming in with just the Glock. Double AK AWP, double Tech 9. A 1 win to stay alive. But it's map series and grand final point for Nemiga. What a nade to start things off on towards Latic. He's swung by an MP9. How's the flash for the second? It is sublime. Khan supporting Yuto allows Lear to get to. He gets a dink on towards the third, and surely his job's done. Surely no more. And he is shot down. But the trades are immediate as Kyron will find Rayos. And it's just those 2 Tech 9s left. They came in with a bit of premium riflery to work with, and all of it's hit the deck. And it's 2 upgraded pistols to keep 1 win alive. Sure, they have the bomb on their back, but I don't think it's going to make a difference, especially with Ozik being 1 foot in the grave.
Yeah. Getting it rolled up in the red carpet. Wrapped up momentarily here as Nemiga look to join TDK in the regional finals. All going to be down to Ozik. And he cannot get anything done. It will be Nemiga to take it. The grand final goes their way. And they are the champions of the second cup of Season 51. An opportunity to net a couple more. And if they play like that, if they're able to take down 1 win like that, a bit of a chip on their shoulder when it comes to that team, I can certainly see them finding another cup between now and the regional finals.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a side that really looks super, super strong. There's a lot to like. The CS they're putting together is great. And we're starting to get to a point now as well where it feels like there's not many weaknesses, if any, in this map pool for Nemiga. I mean, we came in towards that one, Mirage being statistically their worst rated map in the pool for them. And they still looked incredibly clean against a very scary 1 win. This is an Nemiga side that are really starting to look like a real contender kind of to go deep. Sawalio ends up being our MVP off the back of that. I mean, he was fantastic all the way throughout. Map number 1, 25 and 10. And towards that tail end again, another stunning showing from him. Top of the scoreboard again from Sawalio. What a final for him. What a series. And, you know, if we can get this side and essentially all 5 playing as well as they are, they become essentially the gatekeeper team for Tier 2. Like, at the moment, I can't think of many teams that I see as scarier than them. And this is an Amiga side who made that run through the lower bracket, no less, for a while as well. Pressure on their back all the way throughout, and they succeeded. Credit to them. That is a fantastic showing. And I'm really excited to see what this rest of the year looks like for this Nemiga side, because the way they're playing now, with this cup under their belt and, you know, with the finals later in towards the year, they, for me, are absolute shoo-in for Pro League and potentially even for that second major of the year.
Yeah, and we just saw a little bit more to them this evening, didn't we? I think when they were playing, you know, the likes of Nemesis and a bit of it against K27. But they really, really looked on it this evening in just a way. It's kind of hard to describe, but like the way that they were grouping together, the way that they were allowing certain plays to happen and then other members of the team to be a bit more passive. At times we have seen them just sort of send things and, you know, get a little bit chaotic and whatnot. And not quite as structured, and I think that's how they, like against K27 for example, had a very one-sided affair on Nuke, even though we expected it to be closer. So they maybe let themselves down a little bit in some of the earlier series by just not having that extra lock-in gear, and I think we see it here against 1win. They clearly wanted some revenge. You know, there's a lot to it, and if they can tap into that more often, could be a very, very, very scary team in the making here.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on. But sadly, after a lovely few days, that is us now saying goodbye here for the EU Cup. There's still plenty more Counter-Strike on your screens this evening with South America and North America. And that third cup for EU is just around the corner as well. So we'll be back with some Counter-Strike. But for myself, Neokai, and Scriven, our wonderful production team, thank you very much for joining us over the last few days. And we hope to see you all very, very soon.
Trying to just isolate a player or two if you can.
Oh,
it's not going to happen. And the team kill. Oh, that's awkward.
Oh, funny.
Insult to injury on this one.
Get a knife.
Maybe even a knife.
Oh, yeah. He's eyeing it up.
Oh, man. It's the lone AK to try and create some space here. The AWP holding his advance. One comes in. Pickett nervous for the peak, as he should be, but Sawalio uses the space to his advantage to find another kill. Cronus has crept round while all this has been happening. Sawalio looking for the ace. Reyes does not give it to him. Nonetheless, man advantage, 1 win. Chiron. Oh, perfect. On the timing. Isolates both. King Latic hidden away in the cubby. Deletes the first and the second. Oh, man. Massive moment from him. Can Chiron take him down in this magazine? He does seem to have his head on the swivel. He's going to clear the angle all the same. And Chiron, 250 doesn't even do that much damage to him, to be honest. No, oh, God. They both run out of ammo at the same time.
Recommended thing, but he'll miss the flick, but they overlook the man up close, and there's a nice trade comes through, but Khan overflicks.
Oh, big finds though as they push forwards. Keeping it very late indeed. Going to spot the barrel as he creeps through slowly. Knee shot off Ozik.
Because of that, you can actually see Khan surely dead to right. It's all on Chiron. 1v2, then 1v1. Tag with the kick it and a drop as well. Another 1 versus 2. Coming through from mid as well. But there's the opener. Gonna get one. Traded on the site as well. Looking for more. With Latic spotted on the site as well. Nado come round. They're chasing him down, but a trade will come through. The Martyrdom.